Have you ever seen root 2 or root 3 in math and wondered why your calculator never gives you an exact answer? That's because they are surds, and today I will show you why they are special. You can press root 4 on your calculator and it gives you 2. But try root 2 and the answer never ends. You get 1.414213 and so on. Now, what is surd? A surd is an irrational root that cannot be simplified into an exact whole number or a terminating decimal. In simple terms, surds are roots. They are just like square roots or cube roots, but they do not give exact answers. They go on forever without a pattern. Root 2 is a surd because we can't simplify it into a simple number. It stays that way forever. Now let's look at some examples of surds and some examples of numbers that are not surd. For example, root 2 is a surd, root 3 is a surd, root 5 is a surd, root 7, root 8 and so on. They are surd, but non-surds are root 4 because when you find the square root of 4, it gives 2. So it is not a surd. It does not have an unending digit. Now at the same time, root 9 is not a surd because the answer to root 9 is 3. So root 9 is not a surd. When a root gives a whole number, it's not a surd. When the square root of a number gives a whole number, then it is not a surd. That means a perfect square, a number that is a perfect square is not a surd. For example, 25 is a perfect square. So root 25 is 5. So this is not a surd. But if the root cannot be simplified to a neat number, then it is a surd. Now a quick test, which of these is a surd? Root 16, root 20, root 25 and root 7. Which of these is a surd? Pause and leave the answer in the comments. Root 20 and root 7 are surds because they are not perfect squares. For example, the square root of 16 gives 4, so it is not a surd. The square root of 25 gives 5, so it is not a surd. But the square root of 20 and the square root of 7 doesn't give a whole number, so they are surds. Did you get that? So surds are nature's way of saying not everything can be measured exactly. So in summary, a surd is an irrational root. It cannot be simplified to a whole number or a fraction. Perfect squares are not surds, and surds appear in geometry and real life. So I encourage you not to fear surds because they are just numbers that refuse to be tamed. Once you understand how they work, you will be able to simplify them like a pro. In the next episode, we will learn how to simplify surds. It's easier than you think, so make sure to subscribe, hit the bell, and let's keep mastering surds step by step. See you in the next video.